realistic standpoint, how much from a game plan standpoint, strategically, that you have on your plate to get ready for a fellow southpaw, someone who's big and strong, likes to attack the body, is methodical in the way that Errol Spence is?
Yes, the biggest thing about southpaws is that Manny Pacquiao from day one loves to fight southpaws because he is one and he understands how they work and how they set things up and so forth. Manny Pacquiao loves fighting southpaws, and that's the main reason I took this fight.
So looking at the event on August 21st, in a perfect world, how does the fight play out between Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence Jr. on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view?
The thing is, I think Manny outboxes him, and that's the key factor in the fight. Manny's foot speed is unbelievable. It's much better than his opponent's. His opponent kind of plots around a little bit and follows you. He's heavy on his feet, and he seems like he's very set to the ground. And I think Manny's speed will overwhelm him in the in and out program we have going, and I'm really happy with the game plan so far.
My fun.
Wow, those are the words of Freddie Roach as he states that Manny outboxes Spence. Spence kind of follows you around the ring. His feet work is not as good. He's too solid on his feet, meaning he's a plodding fighter. And Manny outboxes him. There's more to this, though. I'm going to leave the link below. Shout out to FightHype.com. Jay conducted the interview. Shouts out to him. Freddie said a lot of revealing things. He said that Manny Pacquiao dropped a couple of his sparring partners. So that was big news. Also in this interview. He said that Keith Thurman was a tougher opponent than Errol the True Spence, but revealed that Freddie Roach was just kidding. He was just fooling about. He was just doing that for showmanship, just trash talk, just cap. Okay, because honestly, you won't know how tough he is until you get your ass in the ring with him, right? So we won't know that yet. But the last thing that sticks out to me is he says that Manny Pacquiao outboxes Spence even at 42 years of age. Let me tell you guys something as I counterpunch, okay? If Manny Pacquiao is able to outbox Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, he's already all-time great, but he would just be one of the greatest, okay? Because for him to jump eras like that, to beat guys from Keith Thurman to Lucas Matisse to Adrian Broner, now to Errol Spence, do you understand that's a whole generation past Manny Pacquiao, and Pacquiao has stayed around to still beat those guys? And it just shows you he's defying gravity of agility and grandfather time, because mostly Manny Pacquiao at age 42 supposed to have been acting like Roberto Duran at age 42. Roberto Duran was getting beat by guys like Kirkland Lang by the time he was that age. And Kirkland Lang did no disrespect to Kirkland Lang, but Kirkland Lang wasn't on the level that a guy like Roberto Duran was on at the time, or should I say years before that, in his prime, okay? And to see Manny still do that, I think will be phenomenal. Absolutely. And can he do it? I think Freddie Roach, I think he is underestimating Errol Spence. I seen Errol, how he was able to go in and out himself and box someone like Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia not lay a hand on him. However, I know Danny Garcia is no Manny Pacquiao, so please, before anybody starts, he's no Manny. I know this. He's no Manny. Okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Because Danny Garcia has to be set to punch. Okay, he's a stationary guy that has to be set to punch. That's why a lot of times he doesn't fall or hasn't been knocked down, because his feet has to be planted to throw those looping shots. This is Danny. But he has to, but his his foundation has to be planted to throw those. He has to be set to punch. Manny Pacquiao's, in and out. So if he's able to execute that on Errol Spence like Freddie Roach thinks and anticipates, wow. All-time great on top of all-time great on top of just going down to one of the best that ever done it. Because someone like Errol Spence, yeah, his stock is going to drop, but Manny Pacquiao's stock is going to... Hell, that may make Floyd, I think I'm going to give up my Mayweather fitness program and I'm going to come back to the sport of boxing and I'm going to show everybody that I'm the best. I'm the creme de la creme. I'm the cash cow. Once again, I have to show everybody that Mayweather is better than Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that type of thing would happen. I think if Manny Pacquiao was whooping these young guys, Floyd, I can do that same thing. I could have whooped Keith Thurman back in the day. I could have took on Errol Spence. I used to box him around in sparring sessions. I could have done that. But you know what? I'm going to do that. You know what? Because I'm the greatest. I'm the TMT. Manny Pacquiao worked for me. Manny Pacquiao worked for me. So those type of things can happen because it's amazing what winning can do to someone else. Okay. However, I think Freddie has been with Manny so long. He's known what he's capable of doing. He's been around him for so long. I think he can only envision in the ring what he saw Manny Pacquiao do instead of what we will see Manny Pacquiao do present time. Okay? Or in the future, should I say, because it hasn't happened yet. That's what I think. Because, it's one thing for a person that's been with you since the early 2000s to see what you're capable of, to even see what you're capable of lately. But that's 2 years ago. That's the question mark. If he can move anything like he can move with Keith Thurman, he still may have a shot to pull this damn thing off. Okay? But again, it is still impressive to knock down two sparring partners. And I think what gets a lot of people with Manny is the footwork. Speaking of Mayweather did show and express how difficult it was, how Manny was one of the hardest fighters because he knew that at the end of the day, he had to time that because Manny is a guy with that type of athleticism and footwork that will have you backpedaling and you're not even ready to backpedal because he's catching you at an angle that you're not prepared to punch. You're only prepared to either flight but not fight. Okay, so he's very difficult with that. He will have you retreating in the way he wants you to go. He'll have you going back on the center line, and there goes the left hand. There it is. Boop. That's Manny Pacquiao. Okay, so can Errol Spence be ready for it? That's what we have to see. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Freddie Roach saying that Manny Pacquiao outboxes Errol the True Spence. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.